Before I start with this episode, I just want to give a quick shout out to Podmetrics. Yup, Podmetrics is the platform I use to get all the data I need for the show. From who listens to me, all the way to where they come from, Podmetrics takes care of all of that so I can make better content for you. You can even integrate Podmetrics with Facebook and YouTube so you can get more data from your live streams. So if you're a podcaster or want to start your own podcast, go visit podmetrics.co and sign up for free. Use my code JakeOfAllTradesWithDelRo. With that out of the way, cue the intro music.
What is going on, everybody? Kamusta kayo lahat mula sa Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao, or wherever the heck you are on the planet? This is your one and only Jake of All Trades, the place to be for any niche, every genre, and all generations. I am your master of ceremony, D to the E to the LRO, aka JDR, aka the extraordinary introvert. So, what's going on? What's happening, everybody? So as you can see, I got a new microphone, guys. Like I said in the previous episode, this is the first thing that I will be spending my salary on. So right on cue, it came today. Shout out to Shopee. Not here to advertise, but shout out to them for coming through with this microphone and this stand just in time for this episode. So that's the first thing that I want to get out of the way. Number two, I know I rarely do this, but before we start this episode, let me just do something real quick. Yeah, guys, it's been that type of week, bro. It's been that type of week. And as you can see, the alcohol is starting to kick in already. So just a quick disclaimer, if I am not myself, if I start to go out of character, I'm really sorry. I just needed my shot of sanity because it's been a long-ass week. So I needed that long-ass go. But anyways, that is enough logistics. And I'm sure nahihiya na yung susunod kong guest, but I'm really grateful that she's able to put up with my shenanigans. And I know this intro is stretching, but let's get all that stuff out of the way and let's go introduce my next guest. So, since I mentioned Mindanao kanina, she is actually from there, all the way from Bukidnon, I think. Basta she'll zero you guys in on all the deets later on, but she is a batchmate of mine. I think she's a year ahead, but we graduated the same year. We did field work together back in 2018 in vegan as well. Yeah, she's a lit major, and I'm sure she'll let you know about her other minors and specializations and all that other good stuff. But with that out of the way, let's give it up for Miss Paulina Samantha Daza.
Hi, this is Sam Daza. So, I'm from Kidapawan City, that's in North Cotabato, and it's all right, Jake, if you don't remember what my city's name is, because
oh my gosh,
to this day, it's all right, because like a lot of my close friends still can't hit the right point in terms of like what my city's name is. Sometimes they use the mnemonic device of Calabao, and I don't know what to do with that, but go lang, whatever helps you remember my city.
All right.
As Jake said, I'm a literature English graduate. Quick tidbit about lit majors. A lot of you assume we're the people who get to write like short stories, poetry, novels. We're not really that. There's another course in Ateneo called creative writing, and they're more those people. The quick distinction I would usually give, creative writing majors write the stuff that lit majors have to write papers about. What else? I have a minor in history, and that's why Jake and I got to be classmates, because I took the class with the field work to finish my minors in history, and one of the best decisions ever. Like fieldwork is fun, and I miss it. Oh my god! And it
Yeah.
felt so bad hearing how this year's ASEL, that's what the program was called, got canceled
Yup.
because of
It's so sad.
COVID-19.
So sad. You're right.
Yeah. Yeah, but in fairness, Doc Zalcita, he's the guy who runs the program, found a way to do it virtually. I
Mhm.
don't know how that turned out, but it still looked fun. And I was like, please let me enroll. Oh, but no time and money. So
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Oh, guys, by the way, yeah. First of all, thanks for that very nice introduction, Sam. But just so you guys know, apparently, I think our dads know each other. I'm not sure if it's your dad or your uncle, but my dad.
no, it's my uncle.
Yeah,
My
yeah.
uncle, Tito Tony. Tito
I think
Tony.
they were roommates in DC back in the day. So, yeah, pretty small world, right?
I know, right? When I mentioned your name, my uncle was like, "Do you know Del Rosario?" And I was like, "Yeah." Oh, his dad's my roommate. I just went over to their house for Christmas. I was like, "Oh, I would have known." But yeah, small, nice little tidbit.
Yep, that is so true. And speaking of tidbits, before we really discuss the topic at hand, since you mentioned vegan, since you mentioned ASCL, might as well share a story. And again, this is part of just the alcohol kicking in. But I know I'm gonna embarrass myself, and maybe I might embarrass you in the process. But in one of those days, I had
Oh my
a
God.
major LBM problem. I'm not kidding. Like that was literally one of the worst nights of my life, bro.
I'm
Like
sorry. I
enjoyed
shouldn't laugh at this, but I know
No,
what
you
you're talking
should. You
about.
should. I enjoyed the trip, but that was one of the least days I enjoyed. Like, literally spent hours just feeling drained, dehydrated, just a bad, stomach. It was. I know it's embarrassing to share this on air, but like, since you're here,
It's
might as well.
alright.
And I just
It's
gotta
part
give.
of the human
Yep.
body, so it's all fine.
But yo, I gotta
Sorry,
give
it still
Sam a
doesn't
major
affect
shout
me.
out because she really came through. Like, right after I got out of the torture chamber, like Sam and a couple of our friends that joined, she gave me.
I think that was AC.
Yeah,
AC,
yeah.
my research partner.
They gave me hydration salts, Gatorade, sagging, you name it.
Yeah, I gave you avocado tea.
Yeah.
That's the I wouldn't really call it folk remedy because it's just something that my mom would do for me as a kid. Every time you have any stomach related problem, my mom makes me avocado tea. And it's not like just to give you a picture, these are like tea granules, so they're mixed with a bit of muscovado sugar, so they're sweet. So when I was a kid, I was just supposed to put like a teaspoon of avocado tea in my mug, but I always like add 3 more because I really like the sweet taste. And it looked like beer. And as I wanted to feel cool, I was like, yes, look, I'm drinking beer. But yeah, I helped Jake and
It wasn't just me, by the way.
who else? Yeah, I helped Jake, my roommate, and his roommate, because my roommate Nikki and you got your LBM from the same source of eating something that was not a good combo. So just a warning, guys. If you want to try bagnet pizza, just make sure that you don't have anything planned for the day, because you will be bonding with the toilet unless you have a iron stomach or something. And then the other guy, who's not my boyfriend now, he ate like bad food. He couldn't, like, I don't know why. Just kept on eating it thinking it was the flavor. But yeah, so I gave them tea. I did some reflexology stuff on their hands, and they lived to do more research. Huzzah.
Yep, she was the nurse. She was the resident nurse of the group. So I know this is not a nursing topic, but we just had to get that out of the way because, I don't know, I'm never going to forget that. That fateful night, like, I literally thought I was going to pass out, like, literally. Like, I thought that night would never end, to be honest.
It did.
Yeah. Anyways, that's enough embarrassing stuff. I know we've gave you guys a lot of those just from me sipping that alcohol to sharing that story. Let's get serious. Well, serious, quote unquote, because our next topic for this episode it's kind of related to what I did last time. It was how to get employed, how to get work. But if in the previous episode we talked about entering the corporate world, being a corporate slave, we're gonna talk about employment from the academic perspective. So we're just gonna discuss, life at the Academe all over again. So before we start, what was I asked this to my previous guest last week. So I'm gonna ask you this question as well. Right after graduation, what were the initial thoughts? Like, did you want to pursue further studies? Did you want to try out work? Did you just want to take a couple of months off after 4 long years of college and just 15 to 16 years of schooling? Like, what was that thought process in your head the moment you marched from the podium?
Let's see. So, I think Jake mentioned that we graduated the same year, but I'm technically a year ahead of him. So, I entered Ateneo as a freshman in 2015, and Jake, you entered when you were 2015. I got quote unquote delayed because I went to the US for think of it as an exchange program for 5 months. So I was behind by one subject. I really needed that for thesis because it was a very complicated, theory and criticism class, and I can't really imagine going through thesis without having gone through that baptism fire. So when I graduated, I was like, oh God, I've spent 5 years in college and I'm really tired and I just want a break. So I wasn't really thinking about pursuing further studies at that point. And it was also because I had 2 people give me life advice on that. One, I think, was my grandma's friend, whose name I've forgotten. I'm so sorry. And the other one was my prof when I told her the advice that my grandma's friend told me. And it was before you go do your master's, work for 3 years first, take your master's, and then take your PhD. Obviously, COVID-19 put a stop to that plan, but my initial plan after graduating, I stopped so many plans, but better to stay safe than do something stupid like travel in an unsafe area. But let's see, I wanted to take a gap year, but at some point I felt like a gap year seemed too long. I just imagined a year of chilling, not doing anything, and I just felt so I can already feel the sluggishness setting in. So I said, why not take a gap sem, which worked for me. It was a lovely idea at the time, except somewhere I think in June or July after I graduated, I got an email from my former professor asking me if I wanted to help him out with a project he wanted to take me in as a research assistant, a contractual research assistant. And I thought, still technically a small vacation for me, except I get paid because I'm working in a familiar environment. This was my home department. These were people I saw all the time whenever I hung around in the English department by the couches, and it felt like I'm still being productive without completely pushing myself into a whole different world, like corporate, or just going to a different area that's not Katipunan, and then readjusting to whatever local culture was there or whatever work culture I would be in. So that was my sort of train of thought. That definitely changed direction a lot, but that's it.
Wow, that is actually pretty interesting that you mentioned wanting to take a gap year, because I actually took one. Technically it was supposed to be a couple of months long, but because of this whole pandemic, it kind of prolonged until just recently, where I got hired long just a couple of weeks ago. Again, shout out to my team. Thanks for taking me in. But that's a very interesting story that you shared. Honestly though, I personally would have seen myself in this world as well, the academe world, because my parents were strongly suggesting, why don't you try out working in the school that you came from. Not because, binababy ka namin or all that, but just, familiarity, just try to get into the groove of things. And understandable naman, if anything, during my job app process, like some of the works that I would apply for myself was in a school setting then. So it made sense at the time, but then of course, the quarantine happened. So that took a major dent into both of our plans. But thankfully, as the months progressed, well, at least in my end, I was able to find this new startup work. And so far, it's doing well. And I actually want to ask you that question. Like, with all the plans of yours being, let's just say it as it is, canceled.
Like thrown out of the window.
Pretty much.
Whatever you want to call it.
So what's been the discard there, like, right now?
Well, the discarte, I have to the immediate thing for me would be home in Kitapawan. And this is I've been home since college, because for my course, literature English, we're not have an intercession, but every year, imagine for 5 years, I would put subjects in my intercession because I wanted to make space for minors, make space for subjects I might want to learn, one of them being Doc Z's Introduction to Cultural Heritage class. It's also my classmate there, and we worked on a dinner together. And it's for quarantine, obviously there's so many downsides to it. But the plus side for me, I guess, is I get to reconnect with home. Before quarantine, the long I'd be home would be like a month, and I'd spend most of it in Metro Manila because I'd always be anxious in college, like, Mom, Dad, I can't stay at home, I can't study here. And that's true. Like, when I go home, it's vacation period because the air here is so fresh. Like, I wake up to birds. I kind of like a Disney princess. I wake up with birds chirping, good morning. And then, I'm surrounded by nature and I just want to relax. I can't study here. But now that is over, and because my contract with Ateneo ended, and I obviously can't go back because I'm here and my work needs me to be, because I do most of my work looking for documents in the archives. That's hard to do from here. So I get to relax my family more, and I've been recently cleaning in my room, and it's been horrible because I hoarded so much stuff ever since I was high school. So I still have quiz papers on 1/4 pieces and lengthwise pieces.
Wow.
Senior year high school, and I also have elementary stuff and preschool stuff. God, and all other people, I'm trying to pursue other hobbies. Right now, I'm still in the kind of figuring out which one to pick. I'm trying to see if I can get into paper making, because I have a lot of scratch paper, but I feel bad if it just gets thrown away. But you can still turn it into something else that you can use. And my baby brother likes writing poetry, writing in notebooks, so it could be just a little like making notebooks for him. And taking online classes, I have more time to actually in massive online courses. There's a but stuff like Coursera, EDX. So far I'm just in Coursera. Are free, and they do have a lot of promotions, and it's pretty easy to get financial aid. I've applied for it twice and accepted twice, so yay.
Wow.
And the other thing that oh my god, the other thing that I've been up to is I got accepted for a conference by a university. I have not started writing my paper, but it's there. The paper exists. I submitted the undergraduate thesis. It's just that after reading it, undergraduate thesis. I just really told myself like one big note. I put this here. So that's it. I just have to do major revision.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
just
Yeah, I'm glad you
that's
brought
it.
that up, pala. By the way, like, yes, Sam does have a paper for a
I
conference
have
in
to properly
Indonesia.
revise.
Yep. So in case y'all missed it because of the spotty connection, she got accepted in a conference in Indonesia where she will just be presenting her thesis. And yeah, good stuff. Like, that is a major break right there. That's your big break moment. So yeah, shout out to you for that, Sam. So wow, a lot of stories. I mean, that was a major backtrack. So as you can see, this pandemic just backtracked a lot of people's plans. And
Oh yeah.
yeah, the two of us aren't any different. So, shout out to you, shout out to me, and shout out to everyone out there who's been trying to discard it, like, out of this very unpredictable situation. So now that we mentioned all that stuff, let's go back to discussing, academic life even after, graduating. So whether
Yeah.
you're working or whether you're a student again, like, I actually want to ask that, what's the difference of being back in the academe as a, I don't know, would I say alumni or like co-worker, because you're still part of the school. Like, you're not a former member anymore, or you're not a former member just yet because you're still affiliated, still have the ID. So I guess my question is, what's the difference of being in the academe, like as a postgraduate, whether you're doing masters or working, compared to life at the academe as a student or as an undergraduate? Like, was it the same, or the vibes similar? Is it different? I would like to know, like, some of your descriptions of the two phases of your life, but still in the same setting, which is Ateneo in your
Sure,
case.
sure. Let's see. As a student, if you ask my blockmates, they'd probably describe me as the hobo in the department.
Oh,
Because
really?
I always like at some point is there for consultations with my professors. Because whenever I wrote a paper, I always liked hearing their inputs, and my professors always gave me slips of papers for like sources. Here you can say this, that. So, um, like compared, I think, to some of my blockmates in my batch, and even in the batch I graduate, already had like a somewhat like closer relationship with my department than they did. I'm not gonna say that I had the closest one, but I definitely was a sort of feature. Like I was part of the department. Kahit sa
Yeah.
couch area lang. It was to the point na there was a time in the department, one of the teachers, Ma'am Frances Perez, and we had something called the lit baby, the English department baby, and that was the time where I think I really became a hobo in the English department. Like
Oh,
ako
wow.
yung tambay doon, because I would go there specifically to play with Jaime, the child. That was before. So it was definitely fun. Like I made friends with the
With older
teachers
people,
there because they would
basically.
also play with the baby, and I'd be like, "What are you doing?" We bonded over a baby instead of like like a random book. So thank you, Jaime, for helping me make friends. Ayun. Let's see. What else? And I had closer friendships, relationships with some of my profs because I really bugged them for consultations. I'm so sorry. Like I know they were like somewhat annoyed with me. Oh God, again with another email for consultations. But I would joke around with one professor, Sir Vince. Sir Vince, hintay ka lang. Like just wait. I'm going to get my MA, my PhD, and I'll be your coworker, and I can bug you every day. And he's like, oh God, I have to move out. Yeah, but when I went back to the English department as a contractual research assistant, I don't know, it was still like, oh, you're here. Oh God. But it wasn't, it was still the same. I still got to chat with the profs I became friends with, and I like more acquaintances, friendships with the other profs, and were more open to chit-chatting with me compared to undergrad. And it's probably got something to do with how teachers have to be careful to interact with students within the classroom and outside the classroom, because a lot of issues surrounding that. So, but as a contractual research assistant and as a technical coworker, they could finally chat, and everybody in the department was so welcoming. Like they'd ask me, "Oh, what are you interested in?" Or they'd make chica about side projects I could do if I want to pursue it. That would get me a lot of moolah. So God bless because of the English department. Because those are most of the professors in the English are women, and they have a very tita vibe. And every time somebody had an event like a birthday, they'd usually get pizza from Shakey's, or somebody would buy a cake from Sweet Inspiration. They'd invite me, and ako parang, oh my God, I'm being accepted by my senseis. Thank you. So yeah, I think it's just really for me, because I'm not sure how it was for other people, because I've had professors who my underclassmen would say, "Oh, we're kind of scared with this professor because he looks strict, la 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 la," and I tell them, "You do know he's just a cinnamon roll. He just has to keep up that facade. To give the impression of please do your job properly." But then you talk to them, they're just people, normal people who, they're just just have to keep a very professional attitude when it comes to interacting with students, because it's part of their job. So I think that for me is the main difference. Nothing so much in terms of my feeling, but it was more of yay, I get to interact with them more without any potential drama na parang hello, why is this student having coffee with the teacher? Oh my God, please naman, wala namang mali siya kung magkape at makichika sa mga co-teachers, sa mga co-workers ko or teacher.
Yeah, guys, relax. Chill. But I like that difference. Or I like what you mentioned there about, you're comfortable with the teachers, even when you were still a student. And I could relate to that myself because, and by the way, I want to give a quick shout out to Ma'am Bernie, wherever you are. Kamusta na po kayo?
Ma'am Birds.
And I totally get your notion na usually the secretaries super masungit sila, and Ma'am Bernie, a lot of people say na, oh, she's one of the most masungit of all the secretaries, but she was a freaking cupcake to me, every time
Ma'am Burns ba to? She's nice, guys. You
just have to reach out. You just have to
be really polite when you talk to her.
Every time I'd enter the door, she's like, "Oh, hey, kamusta na, Jake?" Literally, she'd be really
din ako with her.
Yeah. And not just me, but every other course mate of mine na taga-SOS. So really, it's all about befriending.
People also have to understand, and people also have to understand that being a secretary is hard work. So if they're tired and they're a bit grumpy because of that, it's not because that's their default mood. They're just really tired. Can you imagine they have to arrange all the documents? I think they also have a hand in arrange classes, which professor will do this class, how many do you think so it's a lot of arranging and coordinating with people, and you can imagine the number of especially if it's low dreb season, you want to low red out of this class, so it can get tiring. So if they can't give you a smile because they're tired, it's nothing personal.
Exactly.
When you say when you have a lot of people tweeting, it's not you, I'm dead inside, or I haven't had my coffee, that's also probably their mood. So still try and be friends with them, because it's fun making chit chat and being friends with this your department, your home department, and other departments.
Exactly, that's true.
Yeah.
And that's why, guys, like as soon as to my listeners who are students or just young people in general, like as soon as you guys get to go back to physical learning or just go back to school in general, like do these secretaries a favor and give them a treat. Like a Kit Kat would go a long way, an Oreo would go a long way. Bottom line, just be kind to your secretaries because they're literally your life support. Like you don't survive college without these
Amen
people.
to that.
So yeah, it's all about befriending everybody, even or most especially the secretaries, because they're the ones who really dedicate their work 24/7. So yeah, shout out to our secretary, shout out to your teachers who befriended you, and yeah, tama nga si Sam, like to all the guys or to all the people listening who are triggered by teacher-student interaction, please, you guys have to calm down. Like it's nothing serious.
Like, I mean,
it's just chill. Chill happen lang to.
Like like I mean, I can get why people are triggered, an issue, but you shouldn't be parang easy to slap that very serious term of sexual harassment whenever a student and teacher are outside. Because how else are you supposed to know more about the field that you're interested in if you're not? Because that's how you do make life decisions. You talk to people who've been in that field. And for me, when I was talking to my teachers, to know what the life of literature was from, because some of them weren't just teaching, some of them were getting published journals. They had actual published work here in the Philippines, and they had a good grasp of what it was to take a master's abroad, which is kind of want, but again, COVID-19 big line on that plan. And definitely there issue about improper emphasis on teacher relationships. That's definitely something that should be care. That should be something that these people take seriously, because it's a legitimate problem.
Yeah.
I unfortunately had friends who gone through that experience, and it's just horrible. Because as a kid, my mom would always tell me like, "Oh, Sam, school is your second home, so your teacher is like a parent. Please respect your parent, like you would respect me." And cases like that where there's improper interactions, like some horrible use of power dynamics, it's just a break of that trust. And that, for me, that ends everything that you should be as a teacher, which is trustworthy person, because you're in charge of educating people, and that's serious work. Because imagine from elementary, high school, and college, you're molding your little brains. Or if people, for example, if you're a teacher who's teaching the freshman lit, or it's the first subject that the student will take on physics, that's impression of the subject forever. So it's a really heavy job. Woo. That's why saludo pa rin sa mga teachers dito and everywhere else. Go Friends.
That is so true. Really, it's the trust of both parties had, the student and the teacher alike. If that trust is broken, it's hard to repair it. It's not impossible, but it's very difficult. And gotta give a shout out to all our teachers. You guys are rocking it out there. Despite online settings and all, you guys are finding ways. Shout out to my mom firstly, because she is an educator herself. And once again, shout out to Gabby, our new preschool teacher. You both of you are holding it down for the school, for us, and I really can't thank you both enough. So before we continue on, do you have any teachers you would like to thank personally? Whether it's a past experience or they're just trying to find ways in this online setting. So this is now your opportunity to just give shout outs if you want to.
OMG. Okay. So I have two friends in my barkada who are teachers. So Vince, Alam ko mahirap. I wish I could help you with like the teaching load, internet connectivity problem. So for me, like really, God bless. Even if some people, some groups don't appreciate of what you do, I see it. Um, I will be here to support you as best as I can with my not so good internet connection all the way here in Kinabalan City. I want you to always remember that you appreciate what you're doing, even if your students don't completely show it. Don't all share the same sentiment, I'm pretty sure, and I'm sure you can. Some of them do see it, and some of them do appreciate what you're doing. Because these are hard times. These are hard times to be in the educational sector because it's hard. Even if you take out the factor of internet connectivity here in the Philippines, it's hard, especially for the younger kids. Oh my god. And for my lit teacher, there's a bunch of you, so you know who you are. You've all you've all chipped in terms of my growth as the literature English major that I am now. For better or worse, I'm not sure if it's a happy product of their curriculum, but I want to know that each of you taught me something in your class, even if some of you might not have had the most because I played tidbit. Like I had two teachers who were outed as sexual harassers, and really broke my heart hearing that because it was like oh sorry, heavy topic na agad. So
it's okay. Like it hits home, right? Like since you're part of that department.
It's home because like oh my god, because I don't want to say thankfully because this should be a thing. Nobody should be harassed, period. But I was never harassed by those teachers. So I like when it really, God, when my friends told me what happened, I was just like, what? Talaga? And like for those two teachers, I did admire a part of them. But now, of course, that's out the window because how can I be like, go for this person when they've hurt my friends and when they've abused that, even if their intentions were quote unquote vague or good. So I was like, ugh. But that sort, even those types of experiences have taught me something. Like, but yeah, it's still disappointing. So I can't really my lit teachers, but for the ones who really helped me. Especially when I had consultations that got a bit too emotional. Thanks for lending an ear and for giving me a cup of coffee and a little snack whenever I needed it. Ooh, but yeah. It got heavy there. I'm so sorry, but
that's okay.
I can't really without mentioning that because it's the big elephant in the room whenever literature English major from Ateneo.
I'm kind of proud of you for like getting that out of the way because it's hard to come out with such sensitive stories like that. And just by the way, guys, like we're not defending any sort of people.
If I like drop this issue, it's gonna
I'm gonna get haters, we're both gonna get haters, to be quite frank.
I think that's a thing for everyone. Like if you really if you choose to speak, there will always be someone who doesn't like what you're saying, and some say it in a more constructive way, as in reaching out and doing it politely. Other people will just do it rudely in the language of trolls, which is apparently like, parang, wow, bright mo or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, in short, you're cancelled basically.
Yeah, but like, what are you cancelling me? I don't even know what I'm being cancelled. Was I like loading something? Or something? But anyway, so I really say it. Sorry.
No, it's okay.
But yeah.
So as you can see, guys, we've been backtracking a whole lot, but it's been as of this recording, it's been a long week. and it's hard to pick up our bearings with this work from home setup. So pardon me if this episode is not as organized. Like I said, it's because of this, and it's because of some of the stories we've been sharing. But rest assured, we're just gonna try to deliver as much content as possible. But today's just one of those episodes na, medyo sabaw kaming dalawa and all of that. I just had requirements on my end. I'm sure Sam had her own stuff to deal with. So
cleaning my room.
But let's get back onto it. So since you mentioned earlier that the differences aren't really as much, or you became a lot closer to your professor who are now technically your colleagues. But with that in mind though, like because me, diba, I still had to submit resumes, I had to submit cover letters, I had to go to the interview. Did you ever had to go through that, or like diretsong tanggap ka na? And if you had to go through the interview, were you as nervous as I was on my first interview, or not anymore because you already knew some of these people beforehand?
Okay, guys, when I say this, I don't mean this as a flex. This is how it happened. I got an email from a professor from the School of Humanities saying, "Hey, do you want to have a project?" And I was so flattered. I just said yes. It was like, oh my god, he picked me. I felt like like when you're choosing your Pokemon at the beginning and the one who got picked. I felt like that was their feeling. Like, oh my god. And I think they picked me because when I was under this class, and then he was mentioning, we're doing a project, and we have to do like historical research. I kind of just chimed in. I was like, hey, if you need help, let me know. I'm taking my history minor, and I kind of want to use it. So I didn't have a resume, CV. I didn't go through it. More like, yes, I accept. I'm so flattered. Oh my god. Even if you just said, would you like in that sort of situation when somebody's just a question and you're immediately like, yes, take me please.
Yeah.
I think that was my that was really my sentiment when they asked me. This professor, Ravi, he was really like so fun in his class. He taught like, I forgot the correct name. It was a class on the history of the book as a material object imbued so much not just aspect of it. You also had some portions of science and technology, because the book as we have it now didn't just pop out from nothing. It was a material that had point A to the point where we are now, and I really wanted to work with him. Like, oh my god! And again, it was a shortcut, like sneak peek to what would it be like working in the English department in Ateneo. Because in order to do that, I kind of need to get an MA, PhD, which is not gonna happen. But at that before COVID, I was like, that's not gonna happen anytime soon. So just say yes, and it's still good experience because I'm working with somebody who is in the field for a while, and I also get like tips from Ravi about stuff, and it was something as came along, I was like, wow, this stuff is interesting, and I kind of slightly became personally invested in it. So no interviews, so I can't really share my feelings when I got that job, because I skipped all the regular stuff that people did. But I have gone through submitting my CV, my resume, getting interviewed for like other things, because because again, can't really do my work as a research assistant all the way here when my workplace is in Metro Manila. So I was like, okay, I'll just apply for jobs, or I'll think of this as like the gap year where I commune with nature or return to my roots. I had a friend, dear friend, who I sent my CV or resume. Like I was like, hey, you want to look at my resume? And he's like, yeah, sure. And comments, and I was like, wow. Oh, I could have fixed it like this. I could have like optimized this area better. And I was like, making a resume and making a CV is not as like putting all your stuff, because you have to really especially for the resume, you really have to make sure that the data there is relevant to the position you're applying to, how you present it, what you choose to mention. And I'm not good at writing about myself, because my friend was saying I was being too honest or too modest with my skills. And the whole time he was telling me this, and I was just really saying in my head, I have skills? I don't know what they are. So that was the feeling, and it really made me happy, slightly proud that I had a friend who hyped me up, and because he was saying, yes, Sam, you have skills, like allow yourself to be a bit more proud, because you're a really awesome person to work with, and blah blah blah. I feel like I'm a little bragging, but that's what he said. I'm just like,
humble brag.
I will try, but I'm not really good at just writing all those things. And I did have an interview, not for my research assistant job. Like I applied for an internship. I never got to try an internship in my college life, so I was like, no, it's not too late. I'm still technically a fresh grad, give or take like a year. So I wanted to try one, and because it's for me, even if it's not, it's still experience. And I really want to take a look at how other fields are, because one thing about literature is we're interdisciplinary. Like if you talk about the environment, there is something called eco-criticism. Talk about economics, there's of course the Marxism, the whole like people and whatnot, and there's of course politics and sociology and cultural aspects. You can find like tidbits of lit there. So, and I wanted to explore other fields, and for this interview I was like, oh God, what am I supposed to do? Well, the other end asked me, so what are your skills? I had one big blank moment in my head, because I was like, I don't know how to word these skills, the ones that are relevant to this job. So I was definitely nervous. Like, I'm not sure how you felt when you were interviewed for your interview, Jake, but I was just like, oh my God. And I was so stressed, because I was hoping na mawala ng kuryente. Like, I was really hoping that we wouldn't have a sudden power loss. That happens. It happened later. And I was like, oh my God. I think it happened later that day. And I was just hoping my internet could take it, because I checked my internet earlier today and it was like 2 Mbps. And we have like 4 people, each with like 2 gadgets using the net here. So I was just like really stressed. And I was hoping I was being interviewed. And I was doing it in like our backyard/garden. I was just hoping my dog wouldn't
bark.
I was hoping my dog wouldn't like bark. Yeah. In fairness, she was a polite dog. Like even when I was like doing some videos for my friend, she kept quiet the whole time. She's probably just looking at me from afar, like what is she doing? Why is she like talking? So yes, thank you, Belle, for being a good doggo. So that's my experience with CVs, resumes, interviews. It wasn't with my job, but I've gone through that process, even if it's like after my first job, and it's definitely nerve-wracking. Like, oh my God, they had a subject specifically in college just for this. To write a resume, what's the name of this particular skill that you can't really put your finger on it, like that sort of thing. But yeah, thank you to the friends who helped with my CV and resume.
Wow, that's interesting. So yeah, basically, guys, in case you missed it, in the life at the Academe, there's little to no interviews required. I'm sure you still need to submit documents and all that stuff, just for formality's sake.
Definitely. I feel like for me, Mhm.
But yeah, no interviews required, or little, very little. And even if like they ask a couple of questions, these are from people you know already, because you know they've been your teachers, they've been your professors for at a certain time in your life. So that's pretty much the main difference, you know. The nerves that Sam is feeling now, and that I was certainly feeling during my application process. Yes, don't get me wrong, I was super nervous. And that whole thing you mentioned about the internet, I already had good internet, and one of my interviewers from the US just wasn't having it. Like, he was lagging for some reason, and you know, naglabas siya ng sama ng loob sa akin, and I don't know why, but you know,
Oh
it is
my
what it
God,
is.
bakit naman?
So can you imagine if he tried to interview you with your internet status? Yeah, it would have been a long day for you.
Wala. Yeah, he'd like if he would still be in a bad mood just because of internet connection, probably slammed his laptop or phone on the wall.
Mhm.
Hmm. But you know, that's still like you shouldn't do that. Like I know it's so easy to do like a call, like you know, like rage quit or like the thingy, but please, it's
Uh-huh.
very hard to go shopping for like a keyboard, laptop, or a screen. So possible, like just invest in a nice stress ball and throw that instead, or
Yeah.
you know, throw something that can be easily broken because you don't want to
Mhm.
waste furniture or objects and add to the trash that already exists in the world.
Yeah, that's so true. And I'm personally guilty of that because I've had my rage moments off camera, of course. But I have my rage moments and I would break some stuff. And I'm personally sorry, like, to anyone who's heard my raging.
Oh, Jake, it's all
But
right.
yeah, I've been managing it naman over the past few months. Like, I'm handling a lot better now. And, you know, it's really all about just getting your senses together and just calming down. Because in the long run, that's going to be the better option, really.
Yeah.
But yo, were you gonna say something a while ago, or did you completely forget?
What was I gonna say? I think just like to like put a little disclaimer. I by is that the right term? Bypass the whole interview application process because I knew these people and they were probably wondering which fresh grad would want to spend another year in Academe. I guess they decided maybe Sam wants to do it because you know I really maybe I seem like a very eager student.
Yeah.
So if you're ever thinking about a career in the academe, I really some people have some hesitation with this because they want to like make their own, but networking, knowing someone, they can help you in the process. They can help you by letting you happening, and you can go to that person if you have questions on the position itself that you're too shy to ask on email, and you can ask and also what kind of workplace it is you're going to and what the job really is. So if you are the academe, I know it's good to know somebody there or somebody who knows somebody there. And it, you know, like just recently joined a Facebook group for like postgrads. It's a meme group, but I see like because of that I get to see how a lot of people like with their graduate studies, postgrad studies here in the pod, and the whole mood is basically tired and need coffee, which it's kind of similar life. I'm just guessing it gets up a bit more in postgraduate life. So yeah, just to remind everybody, like still need the CV and the resume. So
Yeah, that's so true. Actually, I was gonna ask about that.
Resume. And yes.
Oh, sorry. Go on.
Oh
Finish.
yeah, go Jake, go Joe.
Oh no, finish your thought. Yeah. Sorry about that.
All right. Cause no, it's fine. This is just my one regret in college. I didn't do as much extracurricular activities as I should have. That helped in the long run in my CV and my resume. Like, if you're looking into the academe or you're looking into a career that might help you get into the academe, that's usually really with writing or working with groups that are associated with your field, like take that internship or apply for that a position where you get to write for websites or help write journals, because it does help. You get to see how life is like in the actual field. And looking at it now as a college student, especially as a freshman, you are cute when you make mistakes. As you get older in college, people like judge you more, but it's still a relevant place for you to make a boo-boo in the field. Like, oh my god, I forgot to here. That's easy to fix. Like, I feel like after that, people will hound at you if you forget, if you cite something unintentionally, incorrectly. Is that the thing? Like, oh, but yeah, that's it. You were saying, Jake?
Oh, it's alright. Yeah, basically, even though life at the Academe doesn't require much paperwork, you're still not off the hook with regards to completing these documents. But now that we got that out of the way, I was gonna ask, in relation to what you were sharing about how post-grad life or just life at the Academe can get tiring. Actually, the question was gonna be, you've been in Ateneo for your undergraduate life, and you've been there to work for a bit. Does it get boring? Like, are there times na minsan nakasawa na sa school that you've been living for, an X amount of years? Or are you used to it now? Like, sanay ka na
like
sa
half
school?
a decade. Oh my god. Times, yes, there were times I was like, I find I kind of felt jealous of my friends who
Are
left
all over
their
the place.
nest,
Mhm.
and like went somewhere else to work. Like, there's something fun about being in a new place and
Mhm.
being in a more di naman corporate, but like it's
Just a new
definitely
setup in
a
general.
big shift from your environment in school to a different workplace environment where everybody you've met is more or less a coworker. Because in my case, my teachers became my technically co-workers, and at some point I did feel bored because I was like, I'm in school but I'm not doing student things. I'm not hanging pages getting milk tea with my blockmates like I would do as a student. OMG. And I know I would bump into the people I knew in undergrad, and they'd be like, did you graduate? And I was like, yeah, I'm working here now as a research assistant. They'd be like, oh, but Ateneo is big, like a relatively big campus, and there are some areas like I haven't really explored, never got to really hang out with. So there were still new things for like, so most of my work, as I've mentioned earlier, it's done in the university archives. So supposedly all the documents are like, they're supposed to have the complete like set of yearbooks from as early as they can get it to the present day. And I got to like meet people there, like the secretary, see Sam Daza, and oh my god, I feel so bad. I know her name. I'm just having where that file is not properly loading in my head.
Mhm.
Yeah, but they're so nice because I really went there every day, and I had to leave boxes in the desk. And I just requested, oh, can they just stay there? Because I also feel bad for the staff member who had to like get it from the second floor and bring it down here again. And you're like, yeah, sure, go lang. And I would actually have chismis moments with them, and it was so fun because like when stuff was happening in campus, we both have that very wide detail moment na parang, Ma'am Lina, narinig mo ba? That sort of thing. So there were, yeah, fine. There were boring moments, but there were moments that really like not regret choosing to another year in Ateneo as like a research assistant. And again, like for me, sorry, because I really like chismis, like good.
No, it's
chismis,
okay.
so,
Like, by all means, go lang.
yeah, like it was really the chismis, like getting to chika with my my teachers, now co-workers, or the secretaries who, would definitely have some reservations with making chica with a student because they're students. But someone who technically worked there, who is a co-worker to some of them, that sort of wall kind of went down a bit. So they're like, yes, didn't you know? I was like, and I was so happy. I can't really say what the cheesiness was, but I was just so happy. Like, thank you for spitting at me.
All right. So basically, my academic or my academe fatigue pa rin. Like, you still experience fatigue of being in the same place, the same environment, even after college.
Yes. Oh yes. Even during college, like I was a 5th-year student, I was like, when I wasn't stressing over thesis or other requirements, I was just like, here I am again. Because the back was I started with, you're all like doing your own thing with work, and they would like for Instagram, like Instagram their work
stories.
desks, and I was like, I want that too, except I got and I don't have a nice desk to actually do that stuff with, and I really can't be productive in any place if it's near my bed, because I will just immediately sleep. So yun, nainggit ako. Like, so din ang parang, I want to go shopping in Office Warehouse for school supplies too. Don't need it because I still have so much. But yeah.
But it's good to know that despite being in the same environment, but then like you still grab that opportunity, and hindi ka naman what's this? You didn't feel
sawa.
Yeah, exactly. Walang sawa factor or walang feelings of regret that I should have just went a new route, and you just I'm getting lost. Sorry about that, guys. But yeah, walang sawa factor. Instead of saying, I should have just went to a new place, you decided to stay in familiar territory. There we go. You decided to stay in familiar territory for at least a year. And it's funny that you mentioned, I'm here again in Ateneo. Little did we know back then that we were going to have COVID. So I'm looking at a lot of posts, a lot of tweets, and people are missing the heck out of their respective universities. So yeah, just little did we know back then.
That's true. I miss walking through Ateneo, even if the hordes of freshies were too slow and always in the way. But yeah, it grows on you, a place, especially when you've been away for it for a while. Especially because I know most of my significant, more memorable experiences, for better for worse, were in, and I just want to go back and I don't know, like have a photo shoot with my friends to recreate moments in campus that we may have photos of or we don't have photos of. And like, I miss it. Like I love being at home. Like there's more nature. There's an Ateneo, but it's really different. It really be different.
That's so true. That is true. And as a wrap up, I guess, to our sentiments or your feelings of the life at the academe or in the university, regardless of whether it's part-time work or a postgraduate student or just even a current undergrad right now, thinking about staying in the academe for a little while, like what's your advice to any of these people in whatever season they may be in their lives? If they are thinking about being in the academe or if they want to, try out work outside, what could be your main piece of advice for those who are undecided yet but feel maybe staying in the academe a little longer might help me a little bit in the long run, even though it can be taxing, it can be a little bit boring to be in the same place all over again. Like, what are your pieces of wisdom that you could give to some of my listeners who are thinking about that life?
Let's see. If you're an undergraduate, for example, and you're not so sure about which field to pursue for their studies, if that's your like your life's goal, same as me, which is Lord willing, lit God's willing, scholarship please. It's good to explore, because you have more time. You are in the space where there are people who are professionals in their fields, who have experience in their fields that you can ask, interact with. Like one of, I keep mentioning Ateneo. I'm so sorry. Like for Ateneo, in case we have like things like flectives for the current batch of students because they're part of the new curriculum. They have like interdisciplinary electives. Go explore. Like, excuse me. Like college is at time where it's nice to explore other fields. And when I did my exploring, I got to go to field school, and I met so many wonderful people. It's just like a major wow factor seeing how things work in a different field, and that kind of helps you. Like if you're not so sure which field to go to. One regret was I should have applied for like a minor British too, because I was like, this thing is fun. It's something that everybody can internalize in your personal life, because each of us have some form of heritage, whether that's something cultural or something in your stuff like that is applicable. And I was like, oh, I should have from more and explored more fields while I was so yeah, for the undergrads, that's definitely something you can look at. And then for graduated, the plus point, I guess, for our time and age now is you have a lot of things that are online, and you have a lot of online courses. For example, Coursera, which is the platform I use frequently. Yeah, that's the one I generally use. A lot of free courses. The catch is not all of them, but it's a good like it's a sort of good entry point for a field that you're interested in, that you might want to explore. And I'm pretty sure in your friend group there's probably someone who is in that field, someone in the field you're interested in, and asking around, again, talking to someone who has been in that field for a while or who worked there, it gives insight. And emailing your professors as like a kamusta, a nice thing. Like for me, when I got accepted friends, I immediately sent an email to my professors after thinking now, notice this, because I know it's like a busy season, with the adjustments, and intersession had just ended. They were grading papers, so I sent them an email, and they replied, noticing me. But might not be like that for all cases, but it doesn't hurt. There shouldn't be any harm or anything wrong with asking a question here, especially if you ask it politely and if you ask it properly. So, email your professor or email someone in that field. Ask them, how is it like? You can express your interest like, hello, doctor or Mrs. or ma'am or sir. You might not remember me. I was your student from this class, and you can tell them that you're thinking of going into, and these are my reservations. So I would like to get your input. If they don't reply, that's kind. I know. If they do reply, then yay, and you really get that opportunity if you go and ask. And I know there are a lot of groups, museums that do webinars. Some of them are free, some of them aren't free. But if you're genuinely interested in, learning more about this field, how it looks like, when it comes to methodology, because even though I ignored that a lot when I was in high school, methodology, who cares about that? I realized that you're supposed to care, because this is how people get their data, and this is how you see how they got from that started the whole paper to the answer. And it kind of gives you an idea of how work happens in this field. Webinars can really help a lot. And if you're still a student, I think some of these are free or you have a discount, and there are usually Q&A portions. So if you have a question, definitely something you can ask them, like especially if it's in some people who are already like more or less established in their field are open to inquiries from people who want to know more about the field. So be on the lookout for them, and take advantage of that. They like having people ask them. They like helping people. Ask, but please don't take advantage to the point that you're asking their guidance. Okay, still be nice. Keep all things polite and professional. And, remember, you're asking their help. You need something from them, not them from you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's true.
I'm not sure if I can give advice for people like medyo like later in their lives having like a crisis. Hopefully you're not having a crisis, or if you are, I hope now you'll be able to ride through that crisis well, and I hope that you'll be fine. I hope you'll be fine. But for me, it's been, as far as I can see, it's never too late to learn something. It's never too late to learn something. Like, for me, learning only really stops when you're dead. And again, like, you have like online courses available to you, and I would assume that if this is a crisis, you would have like a good number of money accounts. So for some of the courses that do need some form of payment, you would have the funds for that. But other than that, there are plenty of free courses to go around. There's also some educational videos on YouTube if you ever for a certain course, and you have books available too that can give you like an introduction, comprehensive guide. They're all there. It's just really an effort to look for them. And joining Facebook groups that tackle this sort of thing. I have a feeling that if it's some random thought, there's like a Facebook group just for people, just for this particular frog meme. I'm pretty sure it exists. Like, knowing Facebook and you could definitely be able to find like a Facebook group for people who are interested in maybe economics, politics, or art. If you want to go into because of my boss, my professor, I got into a Facebook group called the Golden Age of Illustration. So I always see like nice, pretty pictures. I get to see their names. I get to see like, wow, so that's the name of the artist. Picture that I always see floating around the internet. So explore. Like I think for wherever you are in life, undergrad, incoming college student, fresh grad, or if you're someone kind of a bit far away from being a fresh, explore. That's the sum of it all. Explore.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's the perfect advice actually. Like even though we're all cooped up in our homes, it doesn't mean we can't explore anymore. If anything, we have so many resources at our disposal. So it's really up to us whether we want to maximize them or not. But yeah, we have all the chances to explore. So yeah, it's all about learning. Like learning never stops, even if you're not in the classroom anymore, or even if you're here, like online or at home. The learning will always be constant, regardless of how old you are in this earth that we live in. So with that, thank you very much, Sam, for being here with me today.
Thank you, Jay.
Yeah, and guys, we're really sorry if the video was kind of choppy. Sam did give me a forewarning earlier that
that's on my end.
That's okay. I mean, you did deliver naman. But yeah, guys, if you didn't really hear some of our messages, we apologize for that, but I think you did a good job, Sam. You really did a good job picking it up. You really gave amazing information. You gave amazing tidbits, and even some stories. You even spilled a lot of tea in this episode, believe it or not.
I'm sorry. Well, if you guys enjoy it, you're welcome. If you don't, then I'm sorry. But that's just really me. I like.
That's okay. That's okay. This podcast invites any type of discourse. So as long as we're not hurting people in the process, like I'm down. Like that's fine by me. So before we go, any plugs you would like to share? This is now your chance to like share your IG or your local businesses, or maybe your friends' local businesses. So this is your chance to promote. But if you don't want to, it's fine by me as well. So
Well, I keep my IG private, so I'm gonna keep that hush.
that's okay. That's okay.
Oh Lord, okay, let's do this. Oh my God. My roommates and I, my college roommates and I, started the YouTube channel, and
Yes, I saw that. I
if
saw
you
that.
guys want to check out the video, yeah, we have there. It's we're called the Four Horsewomen. I've tried this. If you input in the search bar on YouTube the Four Horsewomen channel, the first video you'll see would be our video. Yeah, and then fun tidbit, these college roommates of mine, these were as in the first roommates I've had since freshman. One of them had to migrate in Canada, and so that was back in 2015, but we still kept a really tight bond, and we, thanks to Google Hangouts, Messengers, many just for Chica on Messenger, and wondering what the channel is about. It's more or less a celebration of this friendship. It was like, wow, parang LDR kami for like 3 years.
Yeah.
For what, like 3-4 years, and if you're wondering what else you'll expect there, because you know, celebrations of friendship might not mean so much to you if you don't know us. It's also to celebrate our interests as individuals, and you know, like if you really see the intro video, we're really different people, but we're best friends. Like, wow, the universal forces that came together to make this strange combination. It's just wow. So tidbits you might videos, reaction videos on my end, and if this sounds boring, I'm videos on literature, how-to videos, a couple of cooking videos because I'm here back at home, or you know, like I'll show you how to make tea using flowers or something. So yeah, that's my main plug, and I feel so shy saying this. Like, oh God,
Wow.
but please check us out. Give us a chance. Give us a chance. Give it a, yeah, Four Horsewomen, and that's also our IG handle, I think, at 4_horsewomen. 4 as in the alphabetical, like as in the word 4 and not the numerical 4.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yes. Oh my God. Oh my God. Yeah, that's also why I've been a bit busy, Jake. Like, I know if you noticed, like I'm just like I was doing the script writing. I was trying to figure out reading on copyright. I still have to read about intellectual property laws here in the Philippines. That's just me and my upbringing as a lit major.
Yeah.
Some small anxiety when it comes to citations and plagiarism. So, but yes, give us a chance. Watch our video. Comment what you think. I really have to give it a thumbs up, but we do appreciate all active input, or you know, like, or praises if meron. So yeah,
There you go, guys. 4 Horsewomen. So it's basically like a podcast, if you think about it. Or is it like just a reaction video?
yeah.
Or-
Well, right now the video we have on our channel is just an introduction video, like, welcome to our channel. You will encounter, we are thinking about doing podcasts. We're just, you know, because we have, the problem is we have so many possible video podcast options. We're still trying to like pick the right idea, and because like for my 3 other roommates, they're in school or working. Like one roommate is in medical, God bless. The other one is still in college, in university, because when she migrated to Canada, she had to like she got held back a bit because she was lacking some subjects major that she wanted. And another roommate is working, God bless her. And it's still kind of hard, you know, to do schoolwork in this pandemic with everything. And you know, like you know, like getting some fatigue from being in front of the computer for too long is real. And So we're juggling producing content with our schedules because we all know that everyone's having fun because that's one YouTube channel for all of us to have fun doing it. So far, we're doing that, naman. Just not gonna try and turn ourselves into a machine that churns out YouTube videos because, ooh, do.
Mhm. Yep. So once again, guys, check out Four Horsewomen. I will be linking that as well on the thumbnail and on my descriptions on YouTube, Facebook, and IG. So those are Sam's plugs. Thanks for sharing those. If you want to follow me, naman, if you want to check out my plugs, here they are. So on Instagram, the podcast account, it is at JOAT.pod.delro. Again, it is at JOAT.pod.delro. If you want to check out my personal account on IG, it is at Jake_Delro. If you want to follow me on Twitter, it is at _Del_Ro_. Also, please do me a favor and do subscribe to my YouTube channel. I will link that also on the thumbnail below, or I'll link that in the description box below, and also on my posts on Facebook and IG. If you want to check me out on Facebook, it is facebook.com/JOAT.pod.delro. So it's just like my Instagram account for my podcast. Or if you just want to type it on the Facebook search tab, just type JakeOfAllTradesWithDelRo. This podcast can be viewed, televised, streamed, and listened to on the following platforms: Spotify, Google Podcasts, Anchor, Radio Public, Breaker, and on YouTube. So with all those out of the way, thank you again, Sam, for being here. And once again, sorry if I have been out of character because the alco is just kicking in. And sorry for the Wi-Fi issues on Sam's end. Although she really did do a good job carrying on and just going with the flow despite some of these technical difficulties. So with that out of the way, that's a wrap, y'all. Thank you for tuning in today, mga Del Bros at Sisters. This has been your one and only Jake of All Trades, and I am Delro, signing out. Hanggang sa susunod na usapan at chikahan. See ya, and cheers, everybody.